Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America. Great to have you with us on the program today. Marcello Russodovito is back with us on the program. The acclaimed chef and owner of several restaurants, including Suffren and the New York-based Marcello's, one of the top-rated Italian restaurants in the United States. He's a chef owner who learned his craft at a cooking school in Tuscany from a small, humble 45-seat restaurant in 1986. Marcello has become a weekly radio show host, guest chef at celebrity events, and author and restaurant consultant. Author of the book, Marcello Russodovito, The Story of My 25 Years as Chef Owner. We'll tell you how to get that book throughout the program today. His website is marcellosgroup.com. Marcello, welcome back in the program. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Rick.
You know, I mentioned that you're a restaurant consultant, and I know you do that all across the country. It's interesting in the book. The book gives you a list of some of your top 25s, your favorite recipes, ingredients, that type of thing. It gives you recipes. It gives you a background on Italy, your heritage, and what you're very proud of. It also talks about your beginning and getting started and how difficult it was in the beginning to really juggle all aspects of the restaurant business. You know, you're in front, you're dealing with the public. In back, it's totally different. It's the complex operation of running a restaurant. Is that where a lot of people struggle when they start a restaurant, trying to juggle those two?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people think that the restaurant is just by taking some recipe from grandmother, and
Yes.
put it together. And then when they say, "Oh, I know how to cook. I should open up a restaurant," and they don't realize that to open up a restaurant, you're dealing with so many different personality, waiters, cooks, dishwashers, and then that's the one thing that people don't know if they didn't go to school or if they didn't do the training, the proper training. I can't believe that the restaurant business is the only probably business that people can open without having a training, a training. You cannot be an hairdresser if you don't get a license, right?
Right.
But you can open up a restaurant, and that's a crazy thing. So, but anyway, that's one of the things that people don't realize is the cash flow that you needed, the credit line that you needed to open up, a restaurant and stay alive into the bad economy. Some people, for example, they get too much ego on the way, that they say, no, that's it. This is my food, if they like it or not. They don't realize that customers is always king. But not always, but you have to be, in between. You have to let them believe that the customer is always the king, and you cannot go in and say, I will not do this, that's it, either my food, and most of the people go out of business because of that.
Well, and you talk in the book, and it's Marcello Russodovito, The Story of My 25 Years as Chef Owner, by the way, at marcellosgroup.com. You can get an e-version of the book, less than $3. It's jam-packed with information on Italy, on Marcello's background, recipes, Italian food, authentic Italian food. It's available at marcellosgroup.com. Maybe we'll link onto that at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. One thing before you actually got into ownership yourself that used to drive you crazy is when restaurants were more concerned about cranking out the high volume rather than the quality. And that has to be something else to juggle. I mean, you obviously need people coming through to pay the bills, but you're also concerned as a chef, an award-winning chef like you are, to make sure that quality stays.
Well, one of the episodes on my book, I wrote the story, and then every 5 years I wrote a chapter, okay, of a funny story, that tells what happened in the restaurant. But also one of the story was that I was always fired by many restaurants, okay, not because I was not good, either because I was too good, okay, or because I was telling them what to do. An example: in one time in a restaurant, the chef was the brother of an executive, so he bought a restaurant for the brother, but the brother had no experience, so he wanted to do like 140, 150 covers, where he only knew how to do maybe 50 or 60. Okay, and so what I did, I was working as a manager, a restaurant manager. So I cut down the amount of seats to about 80 seats instead of 140. And I told them, why don't you learn how to do 80 wonderful, and then we increase over 10 in each week. And I got fired. But then the restaurant, 3 months later, closed down the door. So and quality is very, very important because, some people, they like to create dishes that they are not able to execute it, if you don't have so many chefs. So how are you doing in a bad economy? You have to know how to make the dishes according to your stoves, oven, broiler, Okay, but most of the chefs, they look at the Food Network, and they say, "Oh wow, I want to do this tuna, I want to do
Yes.
this one, I want to do that one." But then when they realize that you have 40, 50, 60, 70 customers coming all at the same time, and you're not able to keep up the quality,
Well, and you like to share that knowledge, and again, a lot of that's available in Marcello's book, The Story of My 25 Years as Chef Owner, available at marcellosgroup.com. And you have a chef table and cooking demonstration studio where you actually do classes and you'll even cook for private groups of people.
Yes. We have something similar to the Food Network where 12 people can sit down all around my studio, and I do either cooking demonstrations or I show them how to make. I do a fancy dinner inside the kitchen, or I do hands-on, where people can coming in and help learning how to make fresh pasta or make gnocchi, cut the vegetables. It's a fun place, to be. I built this about 10 years ago, when I said, when I'm going to be around 50, 55, 60, maybe I want to, just to do the cooking class. I'm 54 now, and I still do both. I'm still doing in the restaurant and in the studio, but it's very fun place to do it, to be, it's really nice. We have a lot of videos on YouTube that people can look, so if they go to my website, they can go to the YouTube and then they can see the studio itself.
Well, you're doing it in a tough market. You've got two very popular and award-winning restaurants in the metropolitan New York area, so you're doing it where there's a lot of competition there. A lot of restaurants you alluded to earlier, they come and they go. You've been there a solid fixture in the community. Got about a minute or so left in the program. Cookware is something you have recommendations, and we'll get that again on the website, marcellosgroup.com, because we're people that try to cook, it's like, okay, this cookware is supposed to be much better than the other one, and then you're worried about price, you're worried about quality, and you really give us some really good, solid examples and a demonstration of the cookware that we should be using.
Yeah, well, each time I try to choose a different cookware than I cook, and if I like it, when people come and do my cooking classes, I introduce the cookware, and then of course they always ask me what to buy, so I post it on the website, so I give them some recommendation. Also, my website, I'm recommending, Italian restaurants in New York City and in Italy. Okay, alphabetical order. So even on my ebook, you have 2 pages of Italian restaurants in New York City, Italian and non-Italian, that I've been, and then I think they are very, very nice. So I give this recommendation. Or if you travel to Italy, I give recommendation of Italian restaurants region by region with their email address and telephone number and websites. Also, like I was telling you on off the air, that for many years, I've been traveling Italy. I bring groups to Italy. So if somebody wants, to creating from A to Z recommendation to go to Italy, of course I charge a small fee for that, but they can call me or email to me, and then I can take care a trip for them worry-free.
All of that information is at marcellosgroup.com, and he mentions going to Italy. And if you're planning a trip to Italy, this is like must read. The Story of My 25 Years as Chef Owner. In 1997, Marcello was given an award, a very prestigious award, Ambassador of Food and Italian Culture Abroad Award, presented by the President of Italy. So he knows what he's talking about. He's very proud of Italy. In fact, as you're reading through the book, you'll see sections in Italian as well as English, and it's really a guide if you're planning on going there, or if you're planning on just staying home and trying to cook some good Italian food. The book is excellent. Marcello Russodovito, The Story of My 25 Years as Chef Owner. His website is marcellosgroup.com. That information available at our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and you can log on and link on and get all that information. And we'll have Marcello back on future programs. Marcello, thank you so much. Excellent book. Thank you for sharing it with us on the program.
Thank you, Rick. And by the way, you mentioned the book is also translated in Italian for all the Italian listeners.
Yes. If they want to read it in Italian, they can do that. I'm reading through that, and I could pick out some of the words from my old Latin growing up as an older boy, so I could pick out some of those. The book is an Italian version as well. marcellosgroup.com is the website. You're listening to This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network.